Hi everyone, good morning. I hope everyone is okay today. Thank you so much for being here with us one more morning. Before I start, I just want to make sure you guys are hearing me okay and can see me okay as well. I'm going to test here my phone. It seems to be working fine. Yeah, it seems to be working fine, but if there is any problem, just let me know, okay? So, um, I usually have two screens when I'm doing the talk, but today I only have one. So I'm gonna share my screen with you guys, but if I'll try and see if I can share my screen and also see your comments and everything. But if I can't, then I will come back to the questions later. So um, I'm sharing my screen now, so I hope you can see it. Okay, so my name is Samanta Alves. A lot of you guys already know me. I am a volunteer at the Spiritism Center in Ireland. I live in Ireland as well. I'm Brazilian, but I live in Ireland, more specifically in Dublin, where our Spiritism Center is. And we have in the Spiritism Center those type of talks. We usually do it in person, but because of the pandemic, we are doing it online for now. But that is the main function, let's say like that I have in the Spiritism Center. But I also do a lot of other things. So the idea today is to talk about Christmas according to Spiritism, because we are very close to Christmas, and we want to give this approach, or give this um, idea of how we spiritists see Christmas. So before we start, I just want to do our initial prayer. So I would ask you, if you could, to close your eyes and close your eyes. If you can, raise your thoughts to Jesus. Dear God, dear Jesus, dear spiritual friends, be with us this morning. Help us learn everything that you want us to learn. Help us during these difficult times, approaching Christmas. There's so many things that we won't be able to do as we are used to, but guide us to do the right thing, and guide us to feel comfortable, feel your presence, be with you during this time. Help us this morning so we can say the right words, we can open our ears, we can open our hearts, we can understand your message, we can follow your path and understand your truth and your teachings. So be it. Okay. I just want to do one more thing here. Yeah, that is the only way I'll be able to share my screen. But okay, that's okay. So, talking about Christmas according to Spiritism, let's understand Christmas first, right? So, thinking about Christmas, what comes to your mind? If you want to pop in the in the chat box. I'm gonna read it later, or maybe I can stop and have a look during the talk. But please put your thoughts there. What do you think Christmas is all about? When you think about Christmas, what comes to your mind? So for a lot of people, what comes to mind is a Christmas tree, presents, and all the festivities that we have during Christmas. And all those things are not wrong, they are not bad, they are fun stuff. They are things that we do during this time that bring us together, that gives us a sense of family. For a lot of people, they spend Christmas with family. For most of people, I would say, sorry, especially Christians, they spend Christmas with their family, and they do all those type of rituals that are not bad in essence, and they have their importance. Um, as I said, it brings us together. It's a moment when you meet your family, when you talk about things that you did during the year. You have fun with them. You exchange some presents, so that is something nice because you're giving something, right, to somebody, and you do something thinking of them. When you're buying the present, you're thinking of this person. You want to do something nice for them. You want to give them something nice. Also, when you are decorating your home, that feeling is a good feeling, right? So you're putting up your tree, all the little things that you put there, all the lights, and all those houses that are so um, decorated for Christmas. When you pass by them, it's nice to see, and you have this nice, warm feeling. You feel that energy, that Christmas energy, and that is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. The problem is that a lot of people actually take Christmas only for that, and they think that Christmas is all about giving presents and having these festivities. So companies parties, and you think that you have to have a tree, a beautiful tree, a giant tree with a lot of things on it, and you also think that you need to have a Christmas dinner with a lot of fancy food, um, and you think that you need to give the best gift to the people you love, and your intention may be in the right place, but it causes you a lot of stress as well. It could cause you a lot of stress as well. And some families actually, they attract a lot of death during this time because they spend so much, and they spend on things that, if sometimes they they wouldn't do it if it wasn't for all the pressure during this time, and sometimes even they don't have the kind of money, but because they are going to receive their family in their homes, for example, they spend too much because they want to treat them well, they want to give them the best food, and again, it's all the best intentions that we have in heart, but it is stressful, and sometimes you go above and beyond, and you end up being so stressed and with a lot of debt in your credit card that would last even for the last 3 months after Christmas. Um, you would be short in cash, or you would be with all this debts that you attracted during this time. So there are a lot of research that shows that between all the end of year deadlines, so between stressful end of year deadlines, family dysfunction, and loss, and increasingly cold and dark winter days, especially in Ireland where we live, in the UK and all the countries on the north, we have this magical, let's say like that, winter Christmas um, environment. But at the same time, it's so cold and dark that um, together with all the stress that we face during this time, it actually is bad for us. We could be depressed. So it's easy for the holiday season to feel not so merry and bright. So it's easy for us to get lost on those things and all those commitments that we make, that we actually forget what is most important during this time, right? And it's also the end of the year. So at the end of the year, we tend to think about everything that we did during the year, and a lot of times we think about everything that we didn't do during the year, and things that we committed to ourselves that we wanted to do, but we didn't do for some reason. And that brings us that feeling of um, being unsuccessful, or that feeling of not having the year that you wanted to have, and that brings you down. So, as I said, those things, those Christmas traditions that we have could be good, but it also could be very stressful and bad for us. So we need to manage it really well. We need to understand what we could do and what we couldn't do during this time, and be more aware of our limits emotionally and also financially as well. And nowadays, we are facing a lot of difficulties because of COVID-19, as you all know. This is a very challenging time for us, humanity. And this year, 2020, was a very complicated year, to say the least. A lot of things happening. And for Christmas, that has an impact, not only because a lot of families won't be together this Christmas, but also because a lot of people are facing unemployment and they don't have the same kind of money. They won't be able to do that big dinner, even if it's for their own homes or the people that live with them. So they won't have the money to buy presents. Um, they won't have the Christmas that they used to have, or they would have, if it wasn't for the uncertain times that we are living, or the difficulties that COVID-19 brings to us. So I brought this thing here from the Irish Times. So as parents in Islam communities in Kenya, Ethiopia, South Sudan, and Somalia are losing their jobs to COVID-19, their children are at risk of losing their lives to hunger. The global crisis is pushing families deeper into extreme poverty. The situation is desperate. By this Christmas, up to 10 million more children could face devastating hunger. So that is a very serious situation, and it's so unfortunate that this is happening. Um, and we feel that it's a Christmas very different from all the other Christmas that the majority of us had in our lives, and it's not possible to not think about these people that are facing so much difficulty. So it's close to us, but it's also so far away, in countries that we sometimes even we haven't visited, or we don't know exactly how things work there. But there's a lot going on at the moment, and it's not possible to not think about all those things. So it's also something else that could bring us down during this time. But then we need to think, so what is Christmas all about? Is it all about having this big dinner? Is it all about giving presents to other people, or receiving presents as well? Being anxious about um, waiting for this time and waiting for that amazing food that you're going to eat, or for that present that somebody's going to give you, or going to that house that is so fancy decorated, and being in shops so crowded at the moment. It's even dangerous for you to go and buy presents this time. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, and everyone has their own conscience, and every country is dealing with it in different ways. So sometimes it's okay for you to go, but you need to be conscious of the problems that we're facing, and be aware, and be responsible as well. So is Christmas only this? Is it all there is to it? So Spiritism actually comes and shows us that Christmas is actually about not only Spiritism, of course, Catholicism as well, and even other traditions and religions. They actually they teach us that Christmas is about Jesus' birth, and that is the most important thing during this time. So Jesus came to us, and doing exactly on this day, and during Christmas time, what we should be doing, or not what we should be doing, but the most important thing that we could be doing is celebrating his birth. He is a very important, he was a very important person on earth, and it is the as in the Spirit's book we can see, question 625. What is the most perfect type that God has offered to human beings as their guide and model? And the answer was be Jesus. Jesus is the realization of the highest moral perfection that human beings may attain on earth. God offers Jesus as our most perfect model, and the doctrine taught by him is the purest expression of divine law, because he was animated by the divine spirit, and he was the purest being that has ever walked the face of earth. If a few of those who have claimed to educate us with respect to God's law have sometimes led us astray by error, it's because they have been swayed by sentiments that are too material in nature. It is because they have been swayed by, in nature. It is also because they have mistaken the laws that regulate the life of the soul with those that regulate that of the body. Many of them presented as divine laws what were really only human ones, created to serve their own passions and to dominate others. So Jesus was the most perfect human being on earth, and he came to show us a lot of things and to teach us a lot of things. And he is our model. He is the one that we should look up to, and that we should try and live um, as him as much as possible. We are not as perfect as him, and it will take time for us to be. The idea is for us to be as perfect as him. And according to Spiritism, we know that we have the law of progression. So we are going to progress, right? We will get there one day, and we will be as Jesus. We are his brother. So the path until there is not easy. And even for me, that I am here, talking to you about a lot of those things, but I want to talk about it with humility, because I'm not Jesus. I'm not perfect. I have my errors and my mistakes, and all of us have. But the idea is to follow him. The idea is to continue our lives, and even try and share Jesus' teachings, and share the kindness of God, to respect God's law, and even if we are making mistakes, and even if sometimes we don't have the the right mindset, or we are too weak to do something, or to resist the temptation, or to overcome our weaknesses or our flaws, you always have to have Jesus in mind. Jesus is the one that can give us the strength. God has created us, and God has put in on earth all these laws and the ways we can we can live and we can perfect ourselves. But Jesus is the guide. Jesus is the one that we can turn to, and he will always have an answer for you. He will always be able to show you the right way, the right path. Sometimes you won't be able to see it, or even if you see it, won't be able to act on it. But there will come a day when, by trying and by experimenting and by having this will, you will be able to be better. You will perfect yourself, or we will perfect ourselves little by little. And that is the most important thing, that you can improve little by little, that you can make progress, even if it's a small one, but that you can make one, because that will pile up. And one day you see the difference. One day you will see that you look back and you see how things were in the past and how you were in the past, and you have the ability to see all the progress that you have made in your own life. So that is really, really, really important. And also in the Gospel, according to Spiritism, chapter 6, item 2, all suffering such as miseries, deceptions, physical pain, and loss of loved ones will find consolation from faith in the future and from confidence in God's justice, all which Christ came to teach men. On the other hand, for those who expect nothing after this life, or who simply doubt, afflictions will seem heavier to them, as they do not have any hope of mitigating their bitterness. This is what prompted Jesus to say, "Come unto me, all who are fatigued, and I will give you rest." Meanwhile, the assistance and happiness promised to the afflicted depends on one condition, which is to be found in the law he taught. His yoke is the observance of this law, but the yoke is light and the law gentle, because it only imposes love and charity as its obligations. So here it touches a very important concept for Spiritism um, in general, and also for us. So this is the basis of Jesus' law, which is love and charity. But charity could be so many things. Charity could be giving money to a charity, really, but it also could be any type of kindness. And we can also replace the name charity with kindness, because is kindness could summarize everything, could be put love and charity together. And a lot of people think that to do charity, they need to um, give money, right? So, okay, for me to be able to help somebody, I need to have a lot of money. And, or they could even say, if I had a lot of money, I could do a lot of things. I could help this person, or I could give money to this institution. But in fact, there are a lot of other ways you can experience kindness, or you can even behave kindly to other people. It's not always about money. Money is important, but if you don't have money, you have time, then you can use some time and you can volunteer somewhere, or you can even, with this time, you can help someone to cross the road, or you can, you know, give a phone call to somebody and talk to them for a little bit. I know it's hard to meet in person at these days, but there are other ways you can FaceTime somebody or you can Skype somebody. You know, we have all this amazing technologies helping us at the moment, that it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. We could even be taking it for granted. But if this crisis was a few years ago, well, yeah, a few years ago, because things are improving so fast, um, we would have a different type of setup. We wouldn't be able to work from home. You wouldn't be able to be in touch with our families as we are so much at the moment, or even with our friends. So I know that a lot of people will have Christmas through Zoom, and that is a nice thing to do. You know, you're still in contact with your family and your friends and your beloved ones, So there are so many ways of being kind, and even a smile to somebody that you don't know. I know I'm saying all those things, and those things seem cliche, but it makes a huge difference. You wouldn't even know how much of a difference it can make to somebody. And if you want to know, just think about some time in your life you were down and somebody came and talked to you, and you talked about the weather. It doesn't matter. You talked about anything, and that person actually shift your emotions that day, and you became so much better. Um, you went home thinking, "Oh, thank God I talked to this person because now I feel different." So there are a lot of ways of being kind. Also, some people think, and I myself actually thought like that before. I thought that I wanted to go to Africa and to help people there because, you know, we hear a lot of um, unfortunate things happening there, you know, hunger and all of those things. So I thought if I hadn't the need to work, I would go to Africa and I would help people there. But I failed to realize that maybe the ones that were needing my help were so close to me. We have our families, and sometimes like our mothers and our fathers, they are waiting for a hug or even a a word of love. You know, they want our presence. Sometimes they want to be close to us in some ways, and we are neglecting it. And being in a family and being with your family and your group of friends and the people that you love the most, this is challenging enough. You don't need to go to Africa. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. If you have the ability, if you're able to do that, then great. A lot of people need help everywhere. But don't think that that is the only way you can help. Your family needs you. Even like your husband or your wife, living with other people has its own challenges, and being kind to them sometimes is the best thing you can do, and it's challenging enough. So there are too many ways, and it's all around us. We just need to open our eyes and our minds and our hearts to see how we can, as Jesus has taught us, express this kindness and express our love to other people. People are the most important things, or things, but the most important thing in our lives. And presents, they are nice, but if you don't have the money, don't bother. Don't worry about it. Be with them and express your love, and tell them how important they are to you. And maybe you don't have a gift for them, but you have some time to spend with them. You want to hear or listen to them if they want to talk. or you want to do something fun together, you know, play a game, whatever it is, that is your way of showing them your affection and being kind to them. Because if every person is different, but material things, Spiritism has shown us that material things, they come and go, and we are not going to bring them together with us when we pass away. So our connections, living, having these relationships and living with other people, they are the most important thing for this time of the year as well. So we need to celebrate Jesus' birth, and we need to celebrate all his teachings, and we need to celebrate our family, our friends, our connections, our relationships. And I I understand that that is the most important thing you can do. World has a lot of problems, right? And there's so much out there, and there's so much we can do to help. So let's let's take this time, and if you don't have the money to buy presents, or even if you don't have a Christmas tree, and if you don't have any Christmas party this year in your company, or if you're not going to be united with your whole family at the end of the year, don't be so stressed about it. Use the time, and maybe that is the invitation during this time. Use the time to think about Jesus. Use the time to learn a little bit more about him, and maybe try and do a little act of kindness this year. Go a little bit beyond what you would go, and experiment and see what happens. So, as we said, it's all about caring, being patient, loving, humble, respectful, honest, gentle, and courageous as well. And I brought this just to show you some things, and this is from Ireland. This is a report published in March 2020, pre-pandemic, by Charities Aid Foundation, CAF, a world-leading organization working at the forefront of philanthropy and civil society. The Island Giving 2020 report is one of an international series of reports produced by CAF. So the key findings um, so they say here, our analysis provides these key findings for individual giving in the Republic of Ireland in September 2019. And it's actually very good, this finding. So 9 in 10, 90% of people in Ireland participated in at least one charitable or social action in the last year. And more than 7 in 10, 72%, did so in the last 4 weeks. 3/5 of people in Ireland donated money to charity within the last year, 62%, and just under 2/5 sponsored someone for charity, 38%. The median amount of money donated in Ireland within the last 4 weeks was €30. The most common method of donating was cash, 68% of donors. The top three causes that people donated to within the last 4 weeks were homeless people, housing and refugee shelters in Ireland, 35%. Children or young people, 30%, and hospitals and hospice, 28%. Nearly a quarter of people in Ireland volunteered in the last year, 23%, with the level of volunteering higher amongst women, 27% versus men, 19%. So those are just numbers that could show us how important it is to give a little bit of our time or a little bit of our money. If you don't have the money, as I said, don't worry about it. Do something else that could help. Volunteering is a very nice way. And we have this culture in Ireland. I know that a lot of other countries have this culture as well. So I know that in Brazil we give a lot, a lot of people give their time volunteering, or they give to their neighbors. They give food to the neighbors. They see other people needing help. So during this pandemic, I read so much about so many things that people were doing to help each other, and this is so good. So we are in a place of regeneration. So the world is really difficult. We have a lot of challenges. We have poverty. We have war. We have criminality. We have so many things. But at the same time, there are a lot of good deeds being done. And this shows how much we do and to help each other. So we are already doing it. And it shows us that Jesus' teachings is already being understood, right? So it gives us this comfort that we are in the right way. So this is just an invitation for us to think a little bit more about it. For us to not forget the most important thing about Christmas, which is Jesus' birth and his teachings and the importance of him in this world and having him as a guide. Everything else is secondary. They could happen. And as I said, it is good sometimes that they happen. But let's not forget what is the most important thing. And let's not be so stressed about those traditions and those things that we do. They are nice if they can happen, amazing. If they can't happen, let's do what Jesus taught us, and let's be kind to each other. So, what birthday gift can we give to Jesus? That is a question that I present to you. I have my phone here. I just want to read some of the comments that we had. Life celebration, Karina Maria said. Elsa said, hi from United Kingdom. Good morning, everyone. Good. So thank you guys for your participation and all the good mornings and things like that that I have here. So I invite you to think. If you didn't write in the chat box, that's okay. But I invite you to think, what birthday gift can you give to Jesus this year? And I'm going to do the same. So what birthday gift can I give to Jesus this time, this year? That is the question. So you can have in your mind. And I want to end with this message from Joanna De Angelis about Christmas. So she says, upon his arrival on Earth, there was no human mobilization, no fuss, no mass movement to inform humanity that the Solar King had descended into the shadow of the world. In the silence of a cold night, he arrived, greeted by unseen angelic beings, and in the blazing light of some orbiting stars, so that the shadow would be less dense in the world, which he would renew morally when he lit the approachable charity of truth. And from that memorable day, humanity would never be the same. He revolutionized existing paradigms in society, implementing new codes of justice, ethics, morals, values for life, centered on duty and solidarity, the joy of life and justice with equality for all. No one else would ever talk about how he expressed himself or do what he did. Greening the barrellands, he passed sowing hope everywhere. Jesus is second to none, and your Christmas is the epic of light that was incarnated for a moment so that it could continue to shine forever. There is a predominance of the forces of evil, anarchy, imbalance, and lives are undermined by extravagant and disturbing utilitarianism. However, by reason of his message, his workers are multiplying everywhere to fulfill his promises, and individuals to discover the paths he has followed, following him in empathy and fully congratulating him. This is your opportunity to meet him if you have not yet been with him. Seek him as soon as possible so that it's not too late. And if you know him, you certainly love him. Use then your Christmas to show that his lesson of tenderness dominates your heart, distributing it to all those who spy on you or who, far from you, await a crumb of kindness that you can and should offer. The Christmas of Jesus is a feast celebrated by heaven and earth, honoring the solar king, who awaits you at the top of the climb up the climb up the mountain, which you must undertake from now on, overcoming and renewing yourself. Trust in the desire to be with him and never give up, even if you discover conspiracies against your ideals and efforts, misunderstandings and difficulties in relation to your goals. He who loves him never fears, never stops. It's Christmas. Love, help, forgive, and be happy with Jesus. Joanna de Angelis, and that was psychographed by Divaldo Franco at the evening meeting of September 5th, 2003 at Mansão do Caminho, Salvador, Bahia. So, as I said, that was all for me. If you have any questions, just let me know. I don't think there is any question at the moment, but I'm gonna just say um, the final announcements here. But if you have any questions during this time, please type them in the chat box, and we can talk about it, and I can try and answer. So the bibliography for today, the book's Gospel According to Spiritism, Chapter 1, Item 3, Chapter 2, Item 4, Chapter 6, Item 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7, the Spirit's Book, Question 6 to 5. As I said, and I have here also some web pages that I searched and some YouTube videos as well. If you want me to send you any one of these links, or even the details for the Gospel According to Spiritism or the Spirit's Book, just let me know. I can send you to or through the Facebook chat box. Also, our activities, we have our public meetings in the form of lives for now every Sunday from 11:15 a.m. That is Island's time, to around midday. Sometimes it's a little bit less, sometimes it's a little bit more. So it depends on the day. We have also talk shows in the form of lives for now every Tuesday and Thursdays at 7:15 p.m. We have our study groups every Wednesday from 8 to 9. Our study groups are not in a form of live, so we don't do it through Facebook or YouTube. We do it through Zoom. So if you want to participate, just send us a message. You can send us an email. Our email is here, spiritismireland@gmail.com, or you can send us a message on Facebook, Spiritism Society of Ireland. That is our page, and we can give you all the details about the study groups, and we can also send you the link and everything that you need to participate. Right. One more thing that I want to say is that we are not going to usually when we are in the Spiritism Center in person, we stop the week before Christmas and we come back only usually the second week of January. And the reason why we do that is because the Spiritism Center, the place that we rent for our activities, they close during this time. So even if we wanted to do it, we wouldn't be able to because the place was closed. But because we are not doing it in person now, we are going to have all the activities as usual. this week, so no, this week is over, or actually starting. So this week we are going to have our talk shows on Tuesday, and on Thursday we are going to have our speech next Sunday as well, and that is the same for the week of the news year. So the new year. So we are going to continue with our activities nonstop. So be with us during this time if you can, and that would be very much appreciated. We really enjoy our time here. We do it from the bottom of our hearts. So you being with us is really welcoming and really really good for us as well. So we hope we help you, and be assured that you help us everywhere as well. So let me just check if there is any other comments here. Non-stop lives, we are in this together. Yeah, so that's the message from us. The biggest gift that we can give to Jesus, it's show him how grateful we are about our lives, spreading and giving to all humankind the love and forgiveness that he taught us to do so. Yeah, that is amazing, Philippe. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That is a very good gift indeed. And I love when you say it's show him how grateful we are about our lives. And that is something that I actually didn't talk about. And that is really important, because when you are grateful, and being grateful is so good, that is one of the things that Spiritism shows us and teaches us as well, and talk about a lot. Gratitude is something that shifts our emotions. So being grateful for our lives is the first step. If you want to, if you are in a difficult place, especially emotionally, and you start being grateful for your life, and you start praying to God and expressing this love for yourself, that actually has a power of shifting your mindset little by little. And you see so much good things happening in your life just because of that, because you are just emanating, if we can say like this energy to the world. And God was so merciful when he created us, and he did it out of love. So being grateful for what he did is really, really, really good. And Jesus, of course, will be really happy with us if we do that. Thank you so much, Philippe, for your comment. I see some hearts here, which is good as well. So that is nice. And if there is no other comments, I'm going to end here. So I just want to thank you guys for being here with us this morning, for attending this talk. As I said, if you have the opportunity to join for our talk shows as well, they are very good. They're more dynamic, because we have this format of having more than one person, and we talk to each other, and we talk to you guys as well, in the chat box and things like that. So it's really nice. So again, thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a great Christmas. I hope you have the ability to be with your family in some way, and I hope that you are with Jesus, because he is always with us. That you can also elevate your thoughts to God, because God is always with us. So we are the ones that need to reach our hands and be with them. So again, thank you so much. Have a good day, and we'll talk soon. Bye. Sorry, actually, before we go, let's just do a final prayer. Sometimes I forget. This time I remembered before ending the broadcast. Sorry. So let's just do our final prayer. Please close your eyes if you can. Open your mind. Raise your thoughts to Jesus. Dear God, dear Jesus, thank you so much for this morning. Thank you so much for everything that we learned. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be alive. Thank you so much for our lives, for our time, for everything that happens to us, good or bad, because they are important. If you allow them to happen, there is a reason. There is a reason for it, and we need them to happen to us. So we want to be grateful for everything. Help us to have the right thinking during this time of the year, so we can be kind to each other, express our love to each other, and we can be closest to you, Jesus, not only during Christmas, but during the whole year, during our lives. And help us to be a little bit better every day, a little bit more like you every day. Help us to improve, a even if it's by baby steps, but help us to improve, so we can one day be as perfect as you are. So be it. Okay, so now thank you so much. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.